In the middle of all the tutorials and courses about n8n and automation on YouTube and elsewhere, there's a question most people don't ask despite its huge importance. Can you just learn n8n and start making money from it? The truth is, learning n8n could be the worst decision you make this year, unless you understand what you're getting into and deal with it correctly. Imagine this with me. You finished an n8n course, announced that you do automation work on freelancing platforms, and finally you got your first client. This client asks you for a simple automation to follow up with customers after sales. So with full confidence, you tell him, 1 week and it'll be ready for you. Well, of course you've seen many tutorials on YouTube of someone creating a workflow doing exactly the same thing. And even better when you download that workflow and test it and find everything working perfectly. So you deliver the work to the client feeling confident because you tested it and everything is fine. And suddenly, 3 days later, many problems occur with the client, and he comes back to you saying the leads are duplicating. The data isn't being recorded in the right places and endless errors. And you spend day and night trying to fix these errors for an automation that was supposed to be simple. Why does this happen? This happens, unfortunately, because when you learned n8n, whether from YouTube or Udemy, all the tutorials you watched were working on small scenarios, not real scale. For example, when you see a workflow working perfectly with about 10 customers, that's completely different from receiving thousands of data entries for a real company. So when you're building the workflow or automation or solution, you must take your time with testing and experimentation and see the possibilities of failure before success. And this comes from actually taking your time learning n8n and automation properly through a respectable learning roadmap with trial and error and continuous experimentation. But what I honestly see, and what usually happens in reality, is that most people sit watching videos on YouTube for hours, and even better when they collect a collection with 50 workflows downloaded from the internet, tested them, and sure they're working fine. But in reality, they can't create any of these workflows from scratch, or even someone else who thinks that when they create a workflow with 50 nodes, they're the king of the game in automation. But that's not always true, because the truth is, simplicity wins. And the more you add unnecessary complexity, the more you increase the chance of error. The real big catastrophe is completely neglecting the business side of the equation. I mean, there are people learning n8n thinking that this is automation and that's it. And the truth is, you can do automation with other tools like Python and others. And actually, the client doesn't care whether you learned programming or n8n. What matters to them is that you solve their problem or save them money. So instead of saying, I learned n8n, say, I solve your problem of customer follow-up that you're losing after the sales process due to lack of follow-up with them, and I do this using n8n. Or for example, I'll save you the cost of an employee working on a repetitive task or mission. And most importantly, that you know how to identify difficult problems for clients and offer to solve them. And here comes your role, that you should be not just providing a workflow or quick solution, and that's it. You must engage your business side more and ask the client questions about the problem or goal to reach the best solution. Questions like what? What's the most repetitive and boring process you have? Explain to me more about your problem with all its details, even if you find it boring, to get a complete picture of the matter. And at this moment, you've transformed from just someone who knows how to use a tool to a person who understands business. Always identify the problem first. Then look at the tools that will help you solve it, whether n8n or others. For example, ask yourself, how do I create automation that saves 5,000 reals per month for this particular business? Then learn only the tools that will help you achieve this goal. And finally, if you don't know how to market yourself, you'll remain just someone with a skill on their CV. After all this, we need to know the answer to the question, can you learn n8n and make money from it? The answer, yes, you can. You can start and earn from automation, but on the condition that you focus on problem solving or the pain points for the client, as they say, more than focusing on learning a specific tool or how to create a workflow. Because as I said, if it's about workflows, there are a million workflows available on the internet. If you benefited from the video, hit like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, write them for me in the comments. See you in another video.